If you're building your business around webinars, or you've thought about building a webinar into your business, you've probably asked yourself this question: should I go live or should I pre-record it? Well, here's my take on this after using both in my business and working with hundreds of clients to help them to build webinars into their marketing strategy. Most people will tell you to start live. And this is the route that I took. And while it did work well for me at the beginning of my journey, it's not what I teach my clients today. So I want to walk you through why, and I want to give you an honest look at the advantages and the disadvantages of both live and pre-recorded webinars so that you can make the right call for where you're at. If you're here for the first time, my name is Lisa Hugo. I have built a 7-figure business coaching executives, leaders, and entrepreneurs to become influential voices in their space. And I've done this through paid ads and high converting webinars. And here's my take. There are so many advantages to pre-recording your webinar. The first one being that you get to make it perfect before it ever reaches the wider audience. I mean, think about it. What's actually on the line with a live webinar? You're presenting in real time in front of real people, and so many things can go wrong. The first time I ran a live webinar, I used paid ads to get 350 people signed up for that webinar. I was running it on a specific day at a specific time. Just even finding a time that would suit everyone is, well, it's impossible. I had 250 people who showed up to the webinar. Now that's high in itself, but it was COVID. People needed things to entertain them. But here's the thing, within the first 5 minutes of that webinar, I had 250 people there. My internet crashed. I lost everybody, and I had no way or understanding of how to get them back online. That was it. Poof, they were gone. And all that money I'd spent on ad spend was virtually wasted. Not to mention, I really felt that my credibility was tainted because of it. The beauty of any webinar is that you collect email addresses when they sign up. Doesn't matter if that's a live or a pre-recorded, which means that I was able to email everyone, apologize, and reschedule another live session. But honestly, of those 350 people who had originally registered, I only got back maybe half of them. And it's not just the tech issues which can cause the problems. You have to deal with keeping up with the chat, making sure you have no hecklers on the line. And if you're on Zoom and have cameras on, you have to make sure that nobody shows up on screen inappropriately. And that's a lot to manage, especially if you're new to webinars. And then, of course, there's the delivery. You're nervous. You lose your train of thought. You forget where you were going with the point. There's no edit button. Whatever happens, happens, and your audience sees all of it. When you pre-record, you get to refine it. You get to practice. You can script it. You can run it as many times as you want until you're happy. You can watch it back. You can tighten it. You can improve your delivery and only put your absolute best version in front of people. That's not a compromise. That's a really smart starting point. And the other advantages of pre-recorded webinars is that they run 24/7. People can sign up to one which is starting maybe in just a few minutes, or maybe one starting later in the day. But they can generally pick a time that's convenient for them. And then the webinar is usually starting sooner than later, whereas with a live webinar, it might be 1 week from now. But I do want to be fair about this because going live does have its place. It just asks a lot of you. To run a live webinar well, you have to be extremely confident, clear, and compelling. You need to know your slides inside out, not just what's on the current slide you're delivering, but what's coming next before your audience ever sees it. And you need energy. There's no room for rambling, no room for ums and ahs. You have to move with pace because attention spans are short. And if you're fumbling for your next thought, then people are gone. And that's a real skill that takes a lot of reps. I do run live webinars, but I generally only run them to my existing email list. So that means people will sign up into my world through an evergreen webinar. They join my email list, they get nurtured, And then 1 to 2 times in a month, I'll invite them to a live webinar. Now, obviously, the content on that live webinar is going to be different to the pre-recorded content on the webinar they signed up for. But I have been doing this for years, and it's a skill that you build on. Now, you might be thinking, well, Lisa, how do I get the reps and the confidence and the skills if I'm not starting out live? Well, you're going to find as you prepare, as you rehearse, as you edit your recorded webinar, it's going to become a part of you. You'll hear yourself. You'll know how you speak. Is it clear? Is it confident? Does it have energy? And you'll keep getting better. Now, I'm not going to deny this. Recording a webinar is a huge task. You have to first create it. Well, that's for whether it's live or pre-recorded. You have to deliver it, record it, edit it. It's the biggest part of the funnel process that I teach my clients, and it's probably the most challenging, frustrating, and time-consuming. I'm not sugarcoating it. It's where most people get stuck, they procrastinate, and even if you're highly skilled, how easily you get through it is going to depend on your level of speaking skills, on your confidence on camera, and on your ability to just hit a hurdle and keep moving forward. Another thing is you don't have to be on camera, but that's a topic perhaps for another video. There is a misconception about recorded webinars and data, that you first need to go live to get the data, to get the feedback, the interaction from your live audience to know how well your webinar is going to perform. That's wrong. All modern automated webinar softwares give you full analytics. You can see exactly where people drop off, whether they show up, whether they arrive on time or whether they're late, whether they stay for the whole thing or whether they bail out early, and whether they come back to watch a replay. That's very clear, specific data, and it lets you then make educated, data-driven decisions about exactly what needs to improve without ever having to go live to get all those insights. But what about the interaction of a live webinar? You can record your webinar to feel live. You can create a chat so that you can encourage people who then do join up to your webinar to participate in that chat so that it then builds out organically. That means every time someone shares a comment in your chat, you can then go in, you can review it, and you can decide, am I going to accept that chat or am I going to reject it? This means you have full control over the comments, and you can choose to only keep the ones which will increase the value and the authenticity of your webinar. Then we get to editing. Now, this is the part that makes pre-recording even more appealing. Because with AI tools now, I use Descript and Loom, but whatever you're using, you get a full transcript of your recording, and you can literally go through and edit it as text. You can cut out the pauses, the ums, the retakes, you can tighten the whole thing up, all through editing the text like a Word document rather than fumbling through timelines. And if you're not proficient with editing videos on timelines, well, that can be overwhelming. But this makes video editing so simple. Genuinely, anybody can do it. You don't need to be a skilled editor to produce a polished and professional webinar. In fact, a lot of my clients just use the AI editing tools within these softwares to prompt the AI to do the edits for them. Not something I choose to do, but hey, if it works for you, great. But here's a bigger point underneath all of this. Your webinar, whether it's live or recorded, is one of the most valuable assets in your business because of what it actually does for a prospect. It lets people get to know you, your voice, your style, your methodology, your story. And by the end of it, they feel like they know you, which is exactly the kind of trust that then leads to somebody booking a call and saying yes to your offer. And here's what I want you to really sit with. If your evergreen webinar is done really well, most people will never know the difference between that and a live session, unless your audience happens to be marketers who know exactly what to look for, but the vast majority of people in your niche will never know. They'll just experience your presence, your delivery, your authority, and that's what stays with them. So it's not really a question of live versus automated being better, but it's about what actually serves you, your comfort level, your objectives for this webinar and your business right now. And for most of you, starting with a pre-recorded webinar that you can perfect and refine is the smarter and more sustainable move. Okay, it's great to have a webinar, but you might also be thinking, well, how do we get people into this webinar and how do we get their email addresses and then how can we nurture them afterwards? Well, if you would like me to show you the full system that we use to support our clients with, not just the webinar, but the whole system around the webinar, then please just go and watch this video right here. And if you're interested to get our support to implement what you're going to learn over here, you'll find all the details over there in the description below. Okay? I hope you found this helpful. I hope it's helped you to decide, should I do a live webinar or should I do a pre-recorded webinar? I'll see you soon.